40,000 subscribers. Absolute insanity. And as a thank you to you all, I wanted to do something special. Today I'm going to be talking about 40 fragrances from the past 5 years that not only do I think smell amazing, I think that they are great value for your dollar. This list is, I think, a pretty decent mix between a designer and a niche list, but don't be scared of niche. Don't worry, I'll hold your hand tight. I'm George the Fragrance Apprentice. You are now my over 40,000 subscribers, and here are 40 fragrances from the past 5 years that I'd highly recommend. This is part 1 of a 2-parter video series. We're going to go from 1 to 20 in this video, and then in part 2 we're going to go from 21 to 40, and that video is going to be out pretty soon. But until you watch that, watch this, stick around. Let's start with number 1. Number 1, DIOR SAUVAGE ELIXER 2021. Let's start with a controversial bang. After the metallic ambroxan hits of DIOR SAUVAGE, the EDT, the EDP, the Parfum, and Ringo Starr, Dior realised that the cow that they had been milking was doing as well as that horse that they had recently given a good beating to. To pivot, they asked Francois Demarchi to make a warm, spicy lavender concoction with lashings of cinnamon and licorice, which I think is bloody marvellous, warming and spicy, with some true earthy lavender. It works well with the ambroxan and metallic nature blurred somewhere in the background. A modern cold weather classic that I truly enjoy. Now, this hasn't really got anything to do with the actual Sauvage line, and maybe it would have been better if they'd just made it a completely original fragrance. I also think that the price is Nando's on the cheeky O-ometer, but from my little sample I got, I think that it's a very good performance, even in cold weather, so I'll let that slide. This is a great fragrance, and if you haven't tried it, you should. Number 2, All Saints Sunset Riot from 2018. I've actually had people tag me on Instagram saying how much they love this recommendation from me. I've also had some people not like it either, so let me make myself clear in this description. You take the fluffy cotton candy from Baccarat Rouge 540, desaturate the rose floral element, and sprinkle a bit of the cinnamon and some pink pepper from Herod in there, shine it up with some citrus, and finally wrap it up in a pleasant but opaque amber casing, and bang, you have an extremely wearable, fun and accessible fragrance. Number 3, AMOUAGE's Interlude Black Iris from 2020. Pierre Negrin is an absolute bloody mad lad and has contributed a lot to this wonderful fragrance industry. One thing that has been solidified in his legacy is the Blue Beast, as it's affectionately called, Interlude Man. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of the recent formulations of Interlude Man. They're a little too coal and ash for my liking. They smell how Dick Van Dyke looks like in Mary Poppins, although some of you may be into that. But the floral iris, which I'm a fan of, calms it all down and creates a wonderful airy balance between the darky sooty leather with the Interlude DNA. I'd actually say that it makes it supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. I love this, and for the quality and performance, I am comfortable with the £260 price tag. Think of it this way, if you love this and you buy it, you will not be running out of it anytime soon. Number 4. AMOUAGE OVERTURE from 2019. This is incredible. A beautiful combination of the highest quality Eastern amber with a real medicinal touch that works. There's a lot of myrrh and cognac with some lighter shavings of ginger, saffron and grapefruit, but the cardamom is the thing that brings this all together. Great for nighttime use and for something quite, well, original in this stagnant world of fragrance. Number 5, VULGARI Man Wood Neroli 2019. I've spoken about this a lot, but to reiterate, this is a grand tribute to Italian perfumery. Neroli and fresh citrus, with a balsamic sweet woody tone in the background, makes this an easy to wear citrus squeezable delight. Number 6, let's keep this going with the VULGARI with this year's release, Touré Essence 2021. I think Fragrantica users have got this in the bag, as it is indeed a combination of Terre d'Hermès and Gucci Guilty Absolute. This indeed has that dirty earthy orange, with some added medicinal funk surrounding it that gives it arguably more depth and richness than even Terre d'Hermès does. Looming around it is also that signature VULGARI sweetness that is prevalent in the VULGARI Man line. This is a solid release by VULGARI and is 100% going to be in my spring top 10 next year. Number 7, and finally from the VULGARI Man line, Wood Essence 2018. Probably my least favourite of this trilogy, but yet it's still bloody outstanding. A piney, woody, deep forest of a scent, with luxurious cypress, cedar and vetiver, whilst using that great sweetness that is in the VULGARI Man line, with toppings of a great citrus profile. In short, this is like drinking a 7-Up, and a deep forest at the start of autumn. Number 8, Paco Rabanne's 1 Million Parfum 2020. I think I finally understand why people were not a big fan of this one. And it was because they were wrong. No. Actually, it's probably because of the tuberose. Tuberose can be difficult, a quite funky floral, even stronger and headier than patchouli. Tuberose doesn't play well with others and was quite a risk in such a well-established designer fragrance, but it works and gives 1 Million a more mature, less sweet attribute. Those of you who are not even fans of the original 1 Million, with that zesty fruity bubblegum vibe, may enjoy this, so give it a try, and if you're interested in compliments, well, this was my 3rd most complimented fragrance this year, so there's that as well. Number 9, Tom Ford Ombre Leather, the 2018 edition. Now I'm still adjusting to the parfum version. I won't talk too much about my thoughts on that one yet, but my feelings about it are so far quite positive. But the 2018 Ombre Leather to me is just an absolute classic and has become my current signature scent. It's just fantastic, sexy, clean, leathery goodness that serves me very well this cold weather season. This fragrance gives the connotations of highbrow establishments, bars and restaurants. It's decadent, but also very casual. The quality, of course, is also extremely high. You'd hope so, seeing as Tom Ford were the pioneers of the leather molecule prevalent in all of their leather fragrances. But it's been used in so many ferocious compositions, so using it in quite a surprisingly gentle way, even more so in the parfum version, makes it unique and attractive to all those around you. Number 10, ROJA Doves, Burlington, 1819, not from 1819, no, this is from 2020. My bottle of Millésime Impérial fears no fragrance of taking the top spot of my number 1, being inevitably my final review on this channel, or does it? Let's say that it probably doesn't get a good night's sleep, as it has nightmares of one fragrance, perhaps taking its treasured spot. That fragrance is Burlington 1819. I'll level with you. This is an expensive fragrance, but Christ is it superb. If I only owned this fragrance, and a full bottle of a 2016 Millésime Impérial in the summertime, honestly, I'd be okay. Burlington has grapefruit, bitter orange, lime, but also overflowing with some of the greatest mint ever put into a fragrance bottle. Seriously, if ROJA made a scent alone, with the note of mint that they use in Burlington 1819, it could have the potential to be the greatest of all time mint scent. But wait, there's more. Underneath, to get your bloody money's worth, we have tobacco, vanilla, oak moss, rum, and ginger. Now, let's be clear. You will mostly, and I'm talking 95%, be getting the citruses in the mint from this fragrance, but the harder, sweeter elements underneath give it such a rich, beautiful texture. This is what perfumery is all about, for goodness sake. Painting pictures for your nose. Using vanilla and tobacco to give depth and context to the heavy citruses, as the colour black gives contextual shadows to a beautiful summer's day painting. Burlington 1819 is truly one of the greatest compositions I have ever come across, and that price tag will be tough for some of you, yes, but in this case, you really do get what you pay for. Number 11, Spice Bomb Infrared 2021. I've always had a problem with the original Spice Bomb. I just find it too cold and uninviting. So I thought I'd be happy with Spice Bomb Extreme, which I am. But the problem I have with Spice Bomb Extreme is that it's a little bit too cloying with its vanilla and spice. It's somewhat impractical. I like that with Spice Bomb you can wear it in spring, autumn and winter, and I wanted a Spice Bomb that has that rich coziness of Extreme, but the versatility of the original. Well, Viktor and Rolf answered my prayers this year with Spice Bomb Infrared. Matching a heavy cinnamon with some fruity nuance, some resinous tobacco, and a stroke of genius using saffron to blend it all together. This, in my opinion, is a fantastic 10 out of 10 Spice Bomb release. Number 12, Salvatore Ferragamo's UOMO Signature from 2018. I'm a big fan of UOMO. I love the light coffee, chocolate tiramisu vibe, although what I get mostly from it is the cocoa powder, a bit of alcohol, and some light fluffy vanilla. However, it hasn't aged too well with me. I feel a little uncomfortable wearing it now that I'm pushing 30. I just feel as though it's a little bit too youthful. Now, I've had people comment saying that they don't care and that they're comfortable wearing it deep into their 40s and maybe beyond that. But if you're like me and you enjoy UOMO but want a more mature smell, UOMO Signature utilises the fun, vibrant vanilla and chocolate with a spicier edge and a dose of leather that just hits the spot for me and could very well do so for you. Number 13, by KILLIAN's Angel Share from 2020. I love whiskey. I love Scotland. I love fragrance. Could this get any better? So first of all, let's address the title. What does it even mean? So if you ever get a chance to visit Edinburgh, which I would highly recommend, do yourself a massive favour and go to the Scotch Whisky Experience. Seriously though, Chris, buddy, listen to me mate. Next year, we're going. They have thousands of whiskies, and at the end of the experience, you get 4 whiskies to try for free. Mate, we are going to paint the city of Edinburgh bloody red. If you do the experience, you'll get to go to the vault, which has a grand collection of untouched whiskies. And truly, these amazing whiskies, some hundreds of years old, have never been touched or opened. That is, of course, until me and Chris arrive with a sledgehammer and steal all the... I probably shouldn't admit that sort of plan here. Okay, where was I? Oh yeah, the vault. When you get there, you'll suddenly notice that some of these bottles are a third empty, some even half, even though they have never been opened. Why? Well, whiskey, even if stored in the darkest of rooms, will naturally, after a very long time, evaporate into thin air. And this is a problem, as for whiskey to get its moniker of being Scotch, it needs to stay in barrels for years. 3 years to be exact, not 8 as I previously stated. My mistake. But you see, 8 years is usually the minimum expected by single malt drinkers like myself, but the more the years in the barrel, the more the whiskey evaporates. Distilleries are well aware of this and actually put more in the barrel than they'd expect back. A romantic approach to keep spirits high, see what I did there? Yeah. Is that the whiskey doesn't evaporate in the barrel? No. Angels drink it. I'm not shitting you. The Scottish people, we're weird. We're a bit mental, I'm sorry. Angels drink the whiskey, so whenever the whiskey is put into the barrel, they must accommodate for the angels' share of the whiskey that will inevitably evaporate. Now, does Killian Angel's share meet the mark with me as a big whiskey fan? I think that their best attempt at creating the whiskey DNA is single malt, whilst Angel's share is more of a cognac with vanilla and praline. Now, I like it a lot, but it doesn't have the alcoholic bite that I may have wanted. But this is a fantastic, boozy, strong, warming and rich vanilla with bitter praline that is amazing for those cold winter days. This bottle is also a piece of art, a loving tribute to whiskey tumblers. When I buy a full bottle of this, hopefully I'll be moving to Edinburgh at that point. It will be an amazing, warming, cosy, high quality scent to wear in the capital of whiskey. Number 14, Moschino's Toyboy 2019. Such a complete performance when it comes to making a masculine rose fragrance. This fragrance actually reminds me very much of the professional wrestler Shawn Michaels. Where are my wrestling fans at? I'm here, lads. I'm here with you. Shawn Michaels was a divisive character, overly sexualized, a little feminine in some ways. Even the clothing he wore in the 90s is very similar to the marketing campaign of this fragrance, and even his theme tune utters the words, "I'm not your boy, toy." Now, am I saying that Moschino's Toyboy is a secret tribute to the life and astonishing wrestling career of the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels? Let's just say that I'm not putting it out of the picture. Even still, Toyboy is a brilliantly peppery rose fragrance that is strong, vibrant and filled with confidence, and has served me very well in the transitional seasons of spring and autumn. Speaking of rose, number 15, Gucci Guilty Pour Homme EDP 2020. This was a bit of a shock to the system when I first smelt this, I have to admit. You see, the Gucci Guilty line is, well, it's the fragrance equivalent of your mate Dave. Now, we all like your mate Dave. He's just, nice. You've been to the pub with him a couple times, and, he's alright, isn't he? He's got an ordinary job, an ordinary family life, an ordinary dress sense. He's just ordinary, isn't he? That was the majority of the Gucci Guilty line. Not bad. Just ordinary tonka bean and leathery sugar. It's fine. Just fine. But Gucci Guilty EDP is like finding out that your mate Dave DJs at illegal drum and bass rave nights in the Lake District. It's all a bit out of nowhere, really, isn't it? Gucci Guilty EDP is a blisteringly interesting release from Gucci using rose, sweet chili pepper, balsamic vinegar, and salt. It's a strangely delicious, yet wearable fragrance. It's got a bit of synthetic lavender that's letting it down a little bit. But seriously, Gucci Guilty Absolute, now this, things could be looking up for the house of Gucci. Number 6, Acqua di Parma's Colonia Futura 2020. A great variation of the Colonia DNA, with a tight floral centerpiece that smells like a combination of oranges and lemons, say the bells of St. Clemens, by James Healy, and of Terre d'Hermes, a great earthy vetiver citrus. I think that both Dan and Chris would love this one, as it is that gentlemanly classic cologne with all the bells and whistles. This is a great tribute to the classic gentleman's cologne and one of Acqua di Parma's more balanced offerings in the past few years. Number 17, Gallagher Fragrances, behold, Patchouli. Every year at Christmas, in my family, we get each other Terry's chocolate oranges. It's a very cute tradition, but if you've ever had the fantasy of throwing Terry's chocolate orange over yourself and then spraying musk ravageur, then, well, you know, I think I've got a fragrance for you, buddy. If you like the smell of chocolate and patchouli together with some citrus holding everything together, then this truly is something you must try, especially at this festive season. Number 18, Orto Parisi Quoium. Quoium 2021. Now this is some good shit. I sort of actually mean that maybe a little bit too literally. This has that animalic smell of, well, fecal matter. Now I know that you're thinking, that's great George, cheers, you've really sold us on that one, buddy. Okay, this may not be for my beginner fragrance bros, but for you advanced fragrance collectors out there, this rides the line between going full fecal and a wearable, concise leather fragrance. It's crazy in that way, and really rides that line very well. Its wearability is literally hanging on a tightrope, but it never falls off. Number 19, okay, so Hugo Boss the scent, Absolute 29, yeah, you know that, I know, yes, I know, it's great, I love it, just check it out. But what I really want to bring to your attention is number 20, Hugo Boss Bottled Oud Aromatic from 2019 also. No, not the original Oud, although I enjoy that quite a bit. No, we're talking Oud Aromatic. This is a fantastic scent, amazing, stunning. I've still not got a full bottle of this, but I rinsed through a 5ml decant of this last year in no time. This smells very floral, orange, and oudy, and it's just bloody brilliant. One of the most unique designers on the market today, and quite a shock that it's from Hugo Boss, seriously. Some people have compared this to Fleur de Mal, and I can see that, but there's more orange and quite a strong animalic oud in the base that keeps things so interesting. I am somewhat disturbed quite deeply that this hasn't got more attention. This is wonderful, a great compromise between aromatic florals and quite surprisingly animalic, natural, skanky oud. The term hidden gem is very overused in this community, but seriously, this is an amazing hidden gem, and you should check it out. Well, that's part 1 done, and if you're new here and you want to stick around for part 2, then please hit like, subscribe. The second video should be coming in a week's time, and if you want to support the continuation of these types of fragrance videos, you can always give a bit more by donating to my PayPal, info@thefragranceapprentice.co.uk. Until I see you next time, and until I see you in part 2, I'm the Fragrance Apprentice. I'll save my big thanks to 40,000 subscribers at the end of part 2, but you've got to know I'm grateful. I'm the Fragrance Apprentice, and I'll see you next time.